thought process and all of that. But the word of the Lord is so, so encouraging. Yes. And he's always on time. Yes. Today I'm giving you permission to be you. I'm giving you permission to accept where you are. I'm giving you permission. We wear so many hats. We are in different seasons of our lives. And we have to remember that we are important just like we make everybody else important. We are important. We have to put ourselves on the schedule. We don't think about that because we're always being about our Father's business. We're in ministry, we're husbands, we're wives, we're sisters, we're all of this stuff. We're workers, we're co-workers, we're moms, we're dads, we're grands, and the list goes on and on. So I like the phrase, I love Dr. Seuss to this day. And I'll have to coin his phrase. He said, today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. It sounds so simple, but that's the truth. Yeah. Because we put you on the back burner. We put you behind everybody and everything else. And not only are we in different seasons of our lives, we are in different seasons emotionally. We're in different seasons financially. We're in different seasons all over the place spiritually. All of that. But today, I want to talk about all the aspects that encompasses you as a person. I want to talk about the 12 things of life. It's called the wheel of life. We talk about relationships. Encompasses everything about you. So we forget about that. We compartmentalize and say, oh, I'm good at this or I'm good at that. And then we forget the whole other part of the facets of our lives. So there's 12. There's joy. Your spirituality, your creativity, your finances, your career, your education, your health, your physical activity, home cooking, home environment, relationships, and your social life. When we talk about health and wellness, we always think about exercise and we always think about eating right. But what about all of these 12 circles of life that I just named? We take those parts, but we don't even realize that we just compartmentalizing ourselves, but we are many facets. It's just like a diamond, the brilliancy of a diamond. We are many facets. So we can't dismiss or discount one area because if it does, we become imbalanced. And as I stated before, I'm amongst 5-star generals. You are and we are the apple of God's eye. He watches out every step of the way, watches our every step of the way. Psalm 33 and 14. From the place of his habitation, he looketh upon all the inhabitants of the earth. Today is a day that we acknowledge who God is because he is the author and perfecter of our faith. He is our strength. He is our strong tower. He is everything that we need him to be. 3 John 1 and 2 said, Beloved, I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. The better one's health, the better our health, the better we can thoroughly do the work of God and all that he has called us and equipped us to do. I want to talk about primary and secondary food. Primary food is not food at all. Primary food is everything that I just named. Those 12 things. Our relationships, our career. Are we cooking at home to nourish ourselves? Are we in great relationships? Are we in toxic relationships? And I'm not talking intimate. I'm talking about just a freestanding relationship. Maybe a friend, maybe a coworker. That's toxic. So now we have to start reprogramming our thought process. Because even as scripture talks about us prospering and being in good health, what about our soul? What is our soul? Our mind, our will, and our emotion. We understand that. Because again, I'm amongst 5-star generals. Our soul, will, and emotions. Proverbs 2 and 10 say, wisdom will enter the heart and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. So knowledge is a matter of the mind. I'm laying the foundation. So it's everything starting in our thought process. So as a man thinketh, so is he. Proverbs 24:14, so shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto thy soul. Psalm 139:14, my soul knows it well. Lamentations 3:20, my soul remembers them well, indicating the soul can remember things. We cannot dismiss and discount the aspect of our life, this aspect, because we're so busy, again, being about our Father's business and doing the things that we're focused on to do. And we forget about that aspect. Our thoughts have to line up with what is going on. And sometimes our emotions can be all over the place. So now I hope today, at the end of the day, we can hone in and refocus and really think about who we are, whose we are, and what we were created to do. Then we talk about our will. Job 7:15, my soul would choose. So we have to choose. We have to choose. 6 and 7, Job 6 and 7, my soul refuses both decisions and functions of the will. 1 Chronicles 22:19, now set your heart and your soul to seek Jehovah your God, just as we set our mind to think. This verse states that we should set our soul to seek, which is to make a decision. Emotions comprises many things, including love, hatred, joy, grief. The Song of Solomon states in 1 and 7, tell me, O thou whom my soul loathes. Psalm 42:1, as the heart panteth after the water, brook, so panteth my soul after thee, O God. Love is an emotional function of the soul. For us to become whole and healthy, we must be a balance. We must have balance, the whole body, mind, soul, and spirit, by taking care of our bodies. We must have a positive mental attitude about ourselves and about life. And sometimes life, we feel like, has given us a bad rap. Well, we think about, well, I was born into this. I didn't ask for this situation. I didn't ask to be in this certain type of environment. We didn't, but God created us for a reason and a purpose. Mm-hmm. What is that purpose? It's to be an extension of who He is. And amidst of that, life is happening. Home is happening. Job is happening. All of this matters. And again, I'm laying a foundation. So when we talk about primary food, again, we're not talking about food at all. We're talking about everything that encompasses you as a person. Your thought process, how you process things, because everybody processes things differently. How you look at things, perspective is key. And just because one person's thought process is one way doesn't mean it's better. It's just different. And embracing that is a whole nother level. Sometimes it's hard to do that because we're trying to get our point across in whatever situation that is. And we're frustrated. So things begin to fester in our bodies. And after lunch, we'll talk about the emotional side of it. Every one of us has a doctor in him or her, and I'm not discounting doctors, and I forgot to give you my disclaimer. This workshop is not to treat, diagnose any illness or treatment. But every one of us has a doctor on the inside of us. I hope today that we have an understanding that it's time for us to stop and listen to what our body is saying. We've not been taught that. Moms and dads, that we've done the best that we knew how with what we had. So now it's the time for us to reprogram our thought process. The Word of God says lay aside every weight, and I'm not talking about this weight. It's every weight. And sometimes people are at a plateau. I'm exercising, I'm doing all of this, but why am I holding on to the weight? Because emotionally, what's going on? It's trauma, it's turmoil going on the inside of us. It's turmoil. So now is the time to stop and listen. What is my Bible saying? Everyone has a doctor in him or her, yet we have to help it in its work. Because we're bombarded by society, we're bombarded again by things and stuff, things we have to do. We have to settle our minds, settle our emotions, and sit and think and listen to our heartbeat. Feel our feet planted on the floor. Hear the birds sing. Feel the wave or the breeze in our hair. Stop and feel. The old saying, stop and smell of roses. But let's take it a step further. Go out into nature. Take your shoes off and walk outside. I fuss at the kids, stop walking outside, and then automatically they're being grounded. We don't think about that. But when people walk barefoot, there's something in them that's needing to be grounded. So they acknowledge the earth and they're barefoot. We don't think about things like that. The natural healing force within each of us is the greatest force in getting well. Our food should be medicine, and our medicine should be food. Hippocrates said, let thy food be thy medicine, and thy medicine thy food. He also says, when diet is wrong, medicine is of no use. And when diet is correct, medicine is of no need. So sometimes I feel like, in a way, we've been hoodwinked and bamboozled, but God's secret, mysterious, and in His Word will reveal how we're supposed to do this thing called life. Because He put kingdom on the inside of us, so I think we forget about that. We have all power and all authority. Yes, we have the enemy of our soul always on our trail. But God says we win. Greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. We have the power and the authority to overcome every sickness, disease, and illness. We just have to have the right tools and the right mindset, the right thought process. Because when we see a thing, we analyze that thing and we inhale it and we become that thing. And I'm not saying that sickness and disease is not real and it's not relevant. But what's really going on in the inside of us? What is the relevancy of sickness and disease? What is it? And some people we will say, well, my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, my uncle, my grandparent have the same thing. So I'm due to have it. Who said that? Who lied? Who said that? Maybe we're experiencing those symptoms, but are we accepting that lie? We're experiencing those symptoms, and they're real symptoms. We got to take this medicine. We got to do that. But at the same time, we have to sit down and really start analyzing, why am I? What happened? The Word of God says, who bewitched you? Who stopped you from thinking positively? Who stopped you from moving forward and remembering that this mind in you, which is also in Christ Jesus, but I have the mind of Christ. When we talk about healing is the children's bread, that bread is anything that we need God to be. That bread is not only healing, but it's strength, it's nourishment to our bones and our health. So one of the things, again, I want to talk about is nourishing ourselves. Nourish says provide. Nourish means to provide with food or other substances necessary for growth. Again, this is primary food. What is nourishing you? Again, maybe it's time to switch jobs. Maybe it's time to take a shift. Yes. Sounds like some transition going on. So what is that? The career. Again, we talked about relationship. Is it relationship? Is it relational? Is it toxic? Is it good? Is it nourishing? Is it one-sided? Is it flip-flop? A lot of times we're not understanding that love is the foundation. And are we really being nourished by love? Where do we get that love? Is it your spouse? Is it your friends? I love the fact that my children has friends because I didn't grow up with friends. I really couldn't have them because my mom was who she was. And that was her way, I believe, of protecting. Couldn't go places, and I'm sure some of you can relate to that. But I'm so thankful that they have friends because I'm thinking and I'm understanding that nourishes them. That gives them the stability to not only hear what mama has said, but to listen and to be alert and to be aware of their surroundings because we're not going to be with them all the time. So I'm thankful for that but then to teach them what type of friends to have. We want to push the bad friends away. But God was with sinners and chief thieves. He was with the sinners. And we have to realize that what we place in them, that they will understand and make the decisions that they need to make. Provide with food or other substances necessary for growth is nourishment. health and good condition. The second one is to sustain with food or nutrition. Supply with what is necessary for life, health, and growth. What do we need? It's called bio-individuality. We are all different. In what capacity? I'm not talking male, female. I'm talking about the individuality that God created us to be. One is not better than the other, we're just different. And look at all the beauty in this room. So we're going to get started with lunch soon. But I want to leave with this as we start with lunch. When we have a proper balance in the circle of life, the 12 that I just named, the spirituality, the creativity, finances, career, education, health, physical activity, home cooking, home environment, relationships, social life, and joy. This is your primary food. When these things are kind of balanced in our lives, then we can make better decisions with our food. We're going to talk about after lunch why it's so important to know your blood type. We're going to talk about inflammation. We're going to talk about stress and sleep, how to get back. We're going to also talk about the emotional aspect of certain sicknesses and diseases. All right. We start on emotional. Why the importance of being nourished emotionally. We talked about the career, how maybe it's time to make a change in career.
I think she need a new job.
There's trauma and drama going on at the workplace. I don't know. So hopefully the transition for you ladies is smooth as God wants you to be. But even in the midst of that system, I want to encourage you. And it may not even feel like that. It feel like you've been in a fiery furnace like since forever, probably since you've been there. And always know that God does things. He uses those negative things for His glory. Amen. And if we look at the situation just as it is, then we'll never move from that spot. Amen. So when we look to the hills, from whence comes our help, we know our help comes from the Lord. And that's the enemy's plight all the time. He uses the things that irritate us the most, whether it be our jobs, spouses, or whatever. So I just want to encourage this transitional table. He's going to always work things together for our good. In the midst of it may not seem that way, but we are the light and we are the salt of the earth. And what happens to salt? When we put it on ice, it melts. So remember who you are, and at times we're not trying to hear that. We're trying to look at what the situation is and the frustrating part about it. But as we look, we got somewhere to go. That job is just for a season. And remember that it's just for a season. Get everything you need to get and give out what you need to give out. So your transition can be smooth. Amen. So when we talked about, again, career and finances and joy, the joy of the Lord is our strength. If anybody knows Miss Carolyn, she is a ball of energy, a ball of joy, a ball of love, and I appreciate her so much. So joy is something that the world didn't give, and sure can't take it away. And it definitely tries to do that. We have to remember again our thought process. In 1977, there was a word that came out. And it said, plant a thought and reap a word. Plant a word and reap an action. Plant an action and reap a habit. And plant a habit and reap a character. Plant a character and reap a destiny. So as we were talking about the emotional aspect of who we are, we have to remember whatever our thought process is, that's what we become. And when it becomes us, it becomes an action. So we have to realize and take a step back. The enemy has been watching us before we were even here. And so we have to realize again, the generals, we 5-star generals, and we have to act accordingly. No matter the circumstance or situations, are we in this flesh? Will we get agitated, irritated? Absolutely. But God says we have all things, all power was in his hands. But he gave it and made it available to us. Our sword of the Spirit is what we have to fight. Because we fight not against flesh and blood, but against these principalities and rulers and areas of the dark. We have everything we need pertaining to life and godliness. But at times we feel defeated. We feel like we've given so much and we're not reaping what we've sown and all of that. And God is acquainted with all of that. And we have to remember the thought process governs who we are. When I was working for a company, their motto was your attitude determines your altitude. And that's the motto for everybody. How far we go, whether it be in the spirit realm, whether it be in the natural realm. This is a time that we have to come back and remember the authority that we have. And we've been talking about sickness and diseases and certain aspects of it. So, the emotional side of it. So, emotionally, I'm sure we know someone that has suffered from fibroids, tumors and cysts. Listen to this. That means denying of self, rejecting your femininity, nursing a hurt from a partner, or a blow to your feminine ego. Everything that goes on in this body, it's a response. We are energy. Definitely we're energy. Every time the minister, the pastor points your hands in a direction, and what we're doing, we're pushing energy in that direction. We are energy. We are energy. When we have, somebody has an electrocardiogram, an EKG or something of the heart, it's electricity going through the body. You have to remember the 11 functions of the systems. That's our integumentary system, our muscular, our skeletal, our circulatory, our nervous system, our lymphatic system, our respiratory system, our endocrine, our digestive, our urinary, and our reproductive systems. Why even know this? To better understand what's going on in our bodies. So many facets of who we are, more than just cells, tissues, and organs. We're energy, we are power. When we have certain illnesses, the lymphatic system is one of the systems that governs the liquid that flows up and down the body. And if there's a stagnation in any area of the flow of the body, then we get edema, we get swelling. What's going on? So what are we holding on to? What are we holding on to when we experience that swelling? What are we not forgiving? All of this stuff matters. We have these systems in place for a reason, and they govern who we are. Someone has foot problems, fear of the future, of not stepping forward in life, moving forward in life with joy or ease. All of this stuff matters. Who we are. Our feet have all of the nerve endings, over 50,000 nerve endings at the bottom of our feet. It governs our body. When our feet hurt, everything is thrown off. Why? Because in our feet, it governs the organs. So if we do reflexology, somebody's rubbing your feet, and then there's a point on your feet that is being manipulated, and you feel it in your shoulder, you can feel it in your sinuses. This is how intricate and detailed God is and how preserved us. Everything in our body works synergistically. But if something is off, our weight is off. Again, the thought process, where are we at in our life? It throws everything off kilter. Looking at our feet is so important. That's why when you go to the doctor, they look at your nails, they look at your toes. They can always tell if something is off, something is going on. I was told I'm taking some classes now to become a licensed or certified reflexologist. And one of the things that we're told, like, if someone has bunions, they could people. But what that does, it denotes that they're taking care of everybody else but themselves. That's an imbalance. That's an imbalance. But you can also, on the flip side of that, you can trust them. Because whatever you ask them to do, they're going to do it to the best of their ability. Most nurses have foot problems. Just saying. Everything correlates and comes back to who we are as a person, as who we are as an individual. Shoulder. People experiencing shoulder pain, the emotional aspect of it, the responsibility of guilt and burden. We make life a burden with our attitude. God is our burden bearer, our heavy load sharer, and we forget that. Because we're people, we're in this flesh, and we can take care of this, we can take care of that. And there are times in my life when I experience shoulder, I'm like, my shoulder never hurt me. But going back in the situation that I may have been in, okay, maybe I felt emotionally that I'm taking on too much responsibility or got too much going on. So if it doesn't add up, if this does not represent you, take some time to say, okay, this is what I'm experiencing. Why is that? Where is this area where I can help myself? Because again, learning how to nourish ourselves, not just with diet and exercise. That's great, that's wonderful, we need that. But what about the other aspects of our lives? Sinusitis. People always hear some people might just always got sinus problems. That's an irritation of somebody close to them. All this snorting and like when you get around certain people, maybe animals or whatever the case may be in tune. When we come away from this, I want you to be in tune with your body from this point forward. Be in tune with where we are in the now. Because we're so busy, we got goals, we got focus, this. But sometimes God is saying, the now. That's what I'm wanting you to be. To be in the now. To be in the right now. Not tomorrow. We got a whole list of things to do. Are you on that list? Are you on that list? Because when we jump up, we gotta get up, we gotta get dressed, we gotta go, do. But the scripture says we are believers. And part of believing, we just have to be in part of that word. We don't know how to do that. We're believers. So sometimes it's just okay to just be. Because we're used to going and getting it and grasping and doing and getting and obtaining. And that's fine. All of that has its place. But I feel like this is the time and the season of your life where you just sit down and listen to what your body is saying. If you have skin problems, psoriasis, fear of being hurt, deadening the senses of the self, refusing to accept responsibility, rash, irritation, over delays, babyish ways to get attention, hives, small hidden fears, we make mountain out of molehills. These are skin problems. Whatever's going on in the inside of you, trauma, drama, just the cycle of wind blowing, it starts in. And whatever's going on inside is going to manifest itself some way, shape, or form. Some way, shape, or form is going to manifest itself. Whether it be a sickness, a disease. My body is diseased. It's diseased. Why? Why am I feeling an angst? Why am I feeling stressed and bogged down, of fear, of worry? What is going on? Take heart. And do what the word says to just be. Circumstance and the situation is going to always call us. But when we call back is how we respond, or are we going to react? We have to respond instead of reacting, because when we react, we don't ponder, we don't take things in. God wants a response, not a reaction. We have to do things decent and in order, especially when it comes to our emotions. Men as well as women, we are all emotional creatures, but we do not have to be led by our emotional state. Tell our emotions to be at peace. I'm taken care of. I'm nurtured. I'm loved. I'm cared for. All of these 5 negative words that we've said about ourselves or somebody said to you, it takes 10 more words to overcome that one negative word. How powerful negativity is. We are the salt. And we have to start acting like it and representing it. We are not defeated foes. We are more than conquerors. We win. We win. No matter what, yes. We win. Amen. We win. If you're suffering from edema again, what or who won't let you, what or who won't you let go of? Again, it's a swelling. It's that lymphatic system. It's a stagnation. It's a coming away with holding on to things, whether it be ill feelings from the past, the right now. Whatever that is, it's responding in the body, some way, shape, or form. What about headaches? So we got headache. So you got a headache in the front. Future. I'm stressed about the future. But I'm not even thinking about it. I don't know. It could be a migraine. Where is it coming from? Some people have migraines that based off of smells, scents, and atmosphere, and things like that. But let's calm down and see where we are in our life. Are we afraid of the future? Do we want the future to be more brighter than what it is? What is that? How about the back of the head, the headache? Looking back on these things. We have to be proactive and responsive to what the body is doing. It's tapping us on our shoulders. Stomach. Prolonged uncertainty, afflicting of doom, fear of the new. Like I stated before, and I've said before, that I had suffered with IBS. That's what I was diagnosed with. But then as I'm studying myself and going back, the things that have happened in my life and in my childhood, when screaming and yelling and fussing and fighting was going on, I tend to hold on to that. Because as a child, you don't know how to do with emotions. So I held on to stuff, and now I'm reaping the consequences of that in my adulthood. So I make my affirmations, and I do things to encourage my body to go. Letting go of things. Our stomach is our core, in our gut. This is where a lot of diseases begin, in our gut. Some would say it's our second brain. We have to be more aware and more conscious. Not just what we put in our body, but what is the responses with that emotional situation. Again, work, home, lifestyle. All of that stuff matters because you matter. We're not just one or this or that. We are all facets of all of this. The love aspect, the relationships, the career, the physicality, all of that matters. And when I mentioned home cooking, everybody's like, yeah, home cooking. That matters. Because when you cook at home, we know what ingredients is going in. We're nourishing ourselves and we don't think about that. We just, I'm hungry, I don't have time to cook, I don't want to cook, let me just go get something. Even with going out getting something, start thinking, nourishment. How am I going to nourish? We can, even with fast food, we can find a way to nourish ourselves with that. But even better, start doing that. Start writing things down as far as you wanting to cook. Well, maybe you're saying, I don't like to cook. I say challenge yourself. Do something that you've not done before. It's called nourishing yourself. Do something that you've never done before.
Amen.
Home environment may not be where you want it to be. But we are the light. We are the salt. We are the peace in the midst of the storm. In the midst of the storm, we are the calm. And we put that peace and that calm on that situation. And there's a saying out there, they say, not now, not today, Satan. We got to know that he's going to always be on his A game, but the greater one lives on the inside of us. He don't want us to move forward, so he stagnates us. Then it takes me to fear, anxiety, and worry. Fear, one of the enemy's most popular weapons that he uses against us. Worry, anxiety, and fear can overwhelm us with a thick shadow of darkness, controlling our every move and our every decision. So much crazy going on around us today. War, conflicts, issues, uncertainty, unemployment, division, death. We fear for our children's future. We fear for our families. We fear for our financial situation. We fear for our safety. The list can go on and on and on. And that's his motive, to keep us stagnated. And when we think about fear, what does that do? It halts us. It stops us in our tracks. Yet reality tells us so much of what we spend our time worrying about never even happens. It don't even happen. Where did it start? This thought process. Dr. Carol Leaf is a renowned, what is she, Darlene? Neuroscientist. She's a doctor, and of course, I don't know if you all heard of her, but she's really big. She's a Christian, well, a believer. And she talks about how negative thoughts respond to our brain. Our brains are like the branches on a tree. And every time we have a negative response, they atrophy. So anytime you start thinking negative thoughts, think of what's going on in the thought process. Alzheimer's, things like that. All of this stuff matters. They say they don't have a cure. I'm not a believer of that because my word says different.
That's right.
We live in a fallen world and people do get sickness and diseases. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we have doctors in place.
Amen.
But guess what? We can pray about it and do things about it, but God don't want us sick anyway.
Amen.
But if we do come across that sickness or disease, we have to remember that greater is He that is in me than is in the world.
Amen.
Sickness and disease. We live in a fallen world. We live in a fallen world. And some people say, well, why are we sick anyway? Well, you know what? Because we are sick, and God did not want us that way anyway, we have to start being responsible for that sickness. I know people that are sick and say, well, I'm just waiting on God to heal me. We have a responsibility. We have a responsibility of what to put in our mouth, how we put it in our mouth, and how much. We don't live to eat, we eat to live. We have to reprogram our thought process. When some of us were growing up, mom, dad said, eat everything on your plate. Eat it all. And what you say when you was a kid, I don't like it and I'm full, I don't want it. And they said, too bad. But now, I say, play with your food. Now see what you like, what you don't like. Now we have to reprogram our mind and our thought process. I don't have to really finish all of my food. I don't have to finish it all. The 80-20 rule. When is enough enough? Everybody's different. So now we have to reprogram our thought process and saying, okay, am I really full? What am I nourishing? Am I nourishing my body? Am I nourishing my emotions? What is going on? We struggle with fear and worry at times. But we read the truth, the way, the truth, and the light, and we soak in His word constantly. We have to. If someone is suffering from fear, anxiety, and worry, we have to be not only a doer, but a hearer of the word. That hearing gets on the inside of us as like a seed. And when that seed it starts to grow. And it's planted and it grows. And that's the word, fulfilling its promise. It's not always easy, and it often comes down to a choice. It comes to a choice. Choosing not to allow fear and anxiety to control your life. Affirming yourself. What am I trying to move away from? Why am I fearful? Why do I have anxiety? Where is this coming from? Is it something that happened in the past that I need to take care of? Because we're good at pushing stuff under the rug. Why? So we can move forward and do other stuff. And God is saying, no, let's take everything out from under the rug today. Take it out from under the rug and let's acknowledge it. Let's sit in it for a minute. Let's be it for a minute. It don't feel good, but let's just sit in it for a second. And when we sit in it for a second, then we make that conscious decision. You know what? This ain't good for me. I don't like it. Now go ahead, anxiety, fear. I'm good. I don't feel like that today. Just as we talk to people, we have to speak to that thing because it's a spirit. An antagonizing, nasty, vile, wrong spirit. Because again, the word of God says we fight not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and rulers of this age. Choosing to guard our heart. Why? Because out of it flows the issues of life. The issues of life. The thought process. What are we doing to ourselves? We're not being nourished with love. We're not loving ourselves. What do you mean loving yourself is eating? It's all of that. Loving myself enough to put the right things in this Bible. And it's not to say not to eat your goods and your cake. Yeah, just cake today. I have balance. So we don't look at it in that aspect. But when we start thinking, having a different way of thinking, perspective, we can start choosing life. Choosing life. That's the word. Choose life and not death. Choose life and not death. Where's this emotional standpoint in my life? Where is it taking me? To anxiety, fear, and worry, and distrust, mistrust. Faith without works is dead. Is without faith, it's impossible to please God. When we don't see the thing, that's when we have to trust Him even the more. And remember how He got us out of that situation before. And He'll do it again. Choosing to focus your mind on what is true in the midst of uncertain times. Choice, the emotional aspect. I want to read something to you. This is good as hay. She's past me now, but this is very encouraging. Okay. That's selling author of Healing Your Body and Healing Your Emotions over 30 years. She's passed on now. Okay, it's going to be a second. All right. In this newly revised edition, I want to share with you one of the reasons why I know that dis-ease can be reversed by simply reversing mental patterns. A number of years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer of the vagina. With my background of being raped when I was 5 years old and being a battered child, it was no wonder that I had manifested cancer in the vaginal area. Having already been a teacher of healing for several years, I was very aware that I was now being given a chance to practice on myself and prove what I've been teaching others. Like anyone who has just been told that they have cancer, I went into a total panic. Yet I knew that mental healing worked. Being aware that cancer comes from a pattern of deep resentment that has held for a long time until it literally eats away at the body, I knew that I had a lot of mental work to do. I realized that if I had the operation to get rid of the cancer but did not clear the mental pattern that created it, then the doctors would just keep cutting Lewis until there was no more Lewis to cut. Louise. If I had the operation and cleared the mental pattern that was causing the cancer, then the cancer would return. When cancer or any other illness returns, I don't believe that it's because the doctor didn't get it all out, but rather that the pattern, the patient has made no mental changes and so just recreates the same illness. I also knew that I could clear the mental pattern that cleared the condition called cancer. I wouldn't need the doctor, so I bargained for time. The doctor grudgingly gave me 3 months, at the same time warning me that my life was endangered by the delay. I immediately began to work with my own teacher to clear old patterns of resentment. Until that time, I hadn't acknowledged that I harbored deep resentment. We're often so blind to our own patterns. A lot of forgiveness was in order. The other thing that I did was to go to good nutritionists and completely detoxify my body. So between the mental and physical cleansing in 6 months, I was able to get the medical profession to agree with what I had already known, that I no longer had any form of cancer. I still keep the original lab report as a reminder of how negatively creative I could be. Now, when I hear about someone's illnesses, no matter what dire their predicaments may seem, I know that if they're willing to do the mental work of releasing and forgiving, almost anything can be healed. The word incurable, which is so frightening to so many people, really only means that the particular condition cannot be cured by outward methods, and that we must go within to effect the healing. The condition came from nothing, and it will go back to nothing. All right. So in saying that, again, we don't discount doctors. We don't discount them at all because they can help us in situations. But now is the time in our lives where we take on the doctor that's on the inside of us and stir it up. I stir up the doctor on the inside of you. And to know what's going on with your body. To listen as it taps it on your shoulder. She also says when you were a tiny baby, you were pure joy and love. You know how important you were. It was all about you when we knew it. We didn't know nothing else, but it's just about me, getting. We had such courage that you asked for what you wanted and you expressed all your feelings openly. That's what kids do. If they don't like something, they tell you they don't like it. They throw stuff that they don't like it. All of that. If they want to go somewhere, they say all of this stuff, right? You loved yourself totally. Every part of your body, including your feces. Ladies are playing with it. You know, the parents, we had the real one because they were so playing with it. You knew that you were perfect in every sense of the word perfection. You were who you were. And that is the truth of your being, and all the rest is learned nonsense. And that can be unlearned. It's the thought process. It's the thought process. What are we willing to let go of? To be freer than free, than freer than free. Dr. Seuss didn't say it, I did. To be freer. Because what did he say? Nobody's youer than you. Nobody's youer than you. And you matter. It's time to put you on the list of things to do. It's the you within you. And going back to the fear and anxiety, we might still feel afraid, but we can believe that God is with us. We may not be in control, but we can trust the one who is. We may not know the future, but we can know that God, the God who does. In certain situations, we forget that we have an advocate. We have an Abba Father. We have a daddy God that cares about every single thing in our lives. If we stub our big toe, he cares about it. Every single thing. But we have to remember that we have a connection. He is Daddy God. Yes. And no matter what we do or where we go, he would never or ever abandon us. And his love is true. When people disappoint us, when they fail us, we can trust God because he will never fail us. We have to get back to the basics and remember that everything that we need pertaining to life and godliness is in here. Yeah. Everything we need is in here. Are we willing to listen? Are we going to listen to it? What is the word saying? Listen. Listen. Drown out the noise. Everything that's going on around us. It may not always be easy. But when we enter into his gates with thanksgiving and enter into his court with praise,
Yes.
things happen.
Amen.
When we go into prayer, we expect to change, but God is changing us to change the situation. He gave it to us. He said he put treasures in earthly vessels. We are the earthly vessels. And we're not acting like it. You are the bomb.com, General. Even when it don't feel like it, even though your circumstance don't seem like it, the truth is the reality of what it is. You are who God says you are. I want to talk a little bit more about certain other aspects of our lives as far as emotional back problems. Represents no support in life. The affirmation that you can say to yourself. You know that life always supports you. And this might sound weird, but athletes speak. You might know somebody that's having athletes speak all the time and they try to do stuff, don't go away, frustration and not being accepted, inability to move forward with ease. And in my profession, I see it a lot. I see it a lot. Everything that we're going through, whatever's going on the inside is going to manifest itself on the outside. Everything. Acne. Again, in my profession, I've seen young girls, even adults, with acne, not accepting the self, disliking of the self. What part of that? What area? What happened? What trauma? Do you feel ugly because of a circumstance or situation that you did and you're holding on to that? All of that matters. Everything matters. 3 components of emotions again. There's a subjective, psychological, and expressive. Subjective is how we experience that emotion. Was it physical, such as a rape, a A mental, such as a betrayal in a relationship. Work isn't where you want it to be or do. A child turning their back on you, or life just isn't doing what you thought it would be doing at this stage of your life. Emotions. So much that we can talk about emotions, huh? The physiological, how our bodies react to that emotion, which can be stress, the fight or flight mode, negative toxic thinking. So when we stress, the body doesn't know that you're stressing over a situation, if you're stressing over a death of a loved one, or if you're stressed over a bear just entered into your house. The body don't know that. The fight or flight responses start. And so sometimes it's overly stress on our adrenals, which produces the hormones. And sometimes if it's too much, then that's when inflammation comes in. There's nothing in our body to fight off stress, absolutely nothing. That's why sickness and disease and ailments run rampant, because we have to get a hold of our emotions. We have to get a hold of our emotions. In this state, it can cause an increase of heart rate, your blood pressure will go up, decrease in functioning of the GI tract, which is your stomach area. That's why when we do not experience the feeling of hunger during emotional states, because it's taken over. And again, well, what do we say? The stomach is the second brain. It changes the frequency of our brain patterns when we're stressed. We're not thinking right. Dilation of pupils. I know you've seen that when somebody's like, they may look crazy, as you would say. They stress and they don't know what to do. You might have decreased saliva or dryness of the mouth. Stress is huge. Battling stress. And some might say, I don't deal with stress. Stress is under my feet. We deal with stress on many different levels. It might be a little, but it might be a lot. It's just like the medications you may take. You have mild, moderate, and severe. Put your hands in every direction. And the third component is expressive. How we behave in response. Are we holding grudges, harboring unforgiveness? Always being negative instead of being the light and salt that we are and have been created to be. In this expressive state, this is what happens. Your voice changes according to the type of emotion. Facial expressions change. Start sweating profusely. Wrinkles in the forehead. Redness in the eyes. Hair might stand up. Stiffness in your muscles. Movements of hand and legs and twisting of the fingers. And again, 2 Corinthians 10:5 says, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God, to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and everything high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing down into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. Remembering the word is so important to apply it to our life. Bible, the best instructions before leaving this earth. We have to remember that is our source as well as our resource. That is our source. If you're not a reader, start putting CDs in the car or wherever, so it can get in our spirit man. Because the enemy is coming and he's coming harder because his time is almost up. So we have to be in a state, generals, of doing what it is that we're supposed to do for ourselves, not only for everybody else. It's okay for that, but now is the time to really hone in and focus on what does this body need? What nourishment do I need? What's affecting me? All of these surgeries we've had on this body because of stuff that's going on was unnecessary. We weren't taught this. We wasn't taught the emotional aspect, the spiritual aspect. We just taught Jesus is Lord and you need to be saved and go to heaven. And everything in between. Nothing else matters. Pretty much. You got to do for everybody. You got to do. You got to be doers of the word. And that's what we're at. We stopped at duty. We stopped at duty. We stopped at duty. And yes, we hear. But then we start feeling guilty because we didn't. That is the lie from the devil. sometimes the best thing that we can say for ourselves is no.
I'm not never going to the bathroom. I'm running now.
Straight.
Let me write it
You know
down.
what? Not today, because they always call on you. And why? Because you're faithful. Because they know they'll get it done. Now I ain't saying doing it just to be mean or be grudgy.
Oh, God.
But there's a time and a place for everything. I'm just alerting you to be mindful of all of this stuff. Because the enemy will try to use those subtleties and sap all of your energy.
Yes.
And draw it all away. And now you won't be productive to do what God told you to do for that situation. Because somebody else that came along and said, do this, do that, and do this. And if you don't do it, shame on you. I thought you was a Christian. You're supposed to do this. You know what? Yeah, I am. And that's what it is. Either receive it or reject it. And guess what? When you say no, this is in our thought process. When we say no, we go back after we say no, we walk away and we think about it all over. Why did I say no? I should have said it. I could have done this. And then you thinking about the time frame that you could have done it in, so then I'll be happy. And now you might as well say yes. Why give yourself so much? So even in that, there is no condemnation to those in Christ Jesus. The enemy is the accuser of the brother. Always accusing, always standing us in the courtroom, always saying you. But God says in Christ, when the enemy comes in like a flood, he raises a standard against him all the time. And certain things will happen in order to challenge us so we can get up to higher level to where we not better than, but higher than. Because God is a God that sits high and looks low, but he says, come up. Come up higher. Get these emotional baggage in check and in order. Stop forgetting about you. Stop forgetting about your emotions. Stop forgetting about how important you are. Because you are just as important as your to-do list.
Yes.
Once again.
Yes. Thank you, Jesus.
Your emotions, your thoughts are truly active. They grow and ever changing. Yes, they change, of course. Our thoughts influence every decision, every word, every action, and every physical reaction we make. Thoughts and emotions are governed by our circumstances, our relationship with others and mood, and can also be governed by our five senses: sight, smell, hearing, taste, and touch. Studies have shown that 75 to 95% of physical, emotional, and mental health issues today are a result of our thought lives. Of our what? Of our thought lives. But it is important to know that patterns for our adulthood have been laid down in our childhood. So we gotta go back. We gotta go way back. We gotta go way back. You gotta go way back. Like that. Go back. Sit down and get your return. Listen. Listen to the sound. Listen to the rhythm of you. Listen to what your heart is saying. Listen to your mind, your will, and your emotions. Again, bring it up. Because sometimes when we experience certain things, we just want to leave it there. We just want to okay, that happened, and just move on. And God is refestering, reopening up that thing, and reopening that wound so it can be healed totally and completely. Yes, it happened. But now it's time to confront that thing so you can be totally healed, set free, and delivered, so you can go forth and heal others and do the work that God has called and created you to do, whether it be on a job, out in the world, in this church, wherever that may be. He said, uncover it. Uncover it. Uncover it. So once we uncover it, we sit in it and understand it. It wasn't your fault. And even if it was, you've already been forgiven of that. The fault finder always gonna dig in our head and our thought process and say, yup, you did it. And I say, yup, I've been covered under the blood. It's been forgiven and thrown in the sea of blood. What has happened has happened. Okay, Lord, it's brought back up. I thought I was good with that. So what do I need to understand about this? What do I need to understand about this situation? thought it was done with, but obviously it's not because it's slapping me in the face once again. And when it's slapping me in my face, then I have to understand, all right, there's some unresolved issues that I need to take to my daddy. Because it matters, and it alters the state of the relationships that we are in. It alters everywhere we go. We carry it like a backpack every single day. We go to bed at night and we're tired and we're frustrated and we sleepless nights with it. God is saying it's time. It's time to acknowledge that area of our lives again. Again, the emotional side. Did you know the left side of our bodies represents the feminine side? The receptivity, the feminine energy of the mother. And the right side is the male. That's why we have both hormones. Not as much, but if it's too much, you will have the hair and the different things like that. So that's what we're talking about. When was the last time we went to the doctor and got a physical? Nourishment. You look at it as, okay, I don't need to do this, that, and the other, but I'm good. And in actuality, when I say to the doctor, I'm like, get your blood work and seeing what your levels are, your hormone level, your thyroid level, your vitamin D level, your CBC, your complete blood count. All of that stuff. Cholesterol, your lipid panel. Those are the things when I say go to the doctor, that's what I mean about getting those things checked and seeing. Because as we mature, things start kind of going a little left. And we want to make sure we are on point. Things start, our metabolism starts to slow down. Our metabolism starts to slow down. So we gotta really understand and know that we need to see our levels and see where they are. And understand that. Talk about sleep. All right, some of the reasons why that we can like sleep can be a chemical imbalance. We don't think about that. We just take it as, oh, I just don't sleep. But God orchestrated sleep. What did he do to Adam?
Sleep.
How are we going to sleep? We don't correlate the two. You have to put them in a restful state. We can probably go on and on with that, but I'm going to use that. Put them in sleep. Sleep reboots the brain. It recharges us. And everything that we've done, days, weeks, months, years ago, sometimes it just has to be discarded like a CD-ROM. Just like a regular computer. If it's too much memory, it'll say memory full. So think of your brain as memory full. Kids, this is our reasoning for not remembering stuff. Okay, brain? Don't you? No, not working. It's rebooting, it's reprogramming. No, I'm not mature because I forgot. But we're thinking about your brain as a computer can help try to facilitate a better sleep pattern. Because when we lack sleep, it increases inflammation. We're going to talk about that. It increases cortisol, which we talked about, is the stress hormone, because too much can cause inflammation in the body. Reduces the leptin, which is the mimicking starvation and hunger. It increases the hunger hormone, called ghrelin. Activates the reward system, which is the craving and the addiction. And it's also called diabetes. Diabetes, yeah. I know it's diabetes, but it's diabetes, so you're overweight, and then it can cause diabetes. Sleep is so important. Again, it calms. Talking about sleep. When you don't sleep good when you don't get the proper sleep, y'all have always been told that breakfast is the most important part meal of the day. And I know a lot of majority of people who don't eat it because they're saying, you know what, I'm not a morning person, I don't want to feel like I gotta get up and I gotta eat and this, that, and the other. But when we're sleeping, our body is at a fasting state and it's getting ready to do what it needs to do for the next day. Our body is so amazing. It automatically knows before we even go to sleep, before 2 hours before you go to sleep, the digestive system starts to wind down. That's why after a certain amount of time before you go to sleep that you shouldn't eat nothing because the digestive is going to take a siesta too. They're saying I'm getting ready to go to sleep and you need to go to sleep too because I'm not going to do nothing. But it's going all day. It's going to go another 2 hours. Okay, but I'm telling you, my metabolism is not good for that. Okay, so when you get the proper rest, and the reason why you're supposed to eat is because your cells have to be nourished. It's not just, oh, I need to eat. It's so your cells and all of your organs, your muscles and your tissues can be restored. Drink your water, warm water, even before you get up with lemon water. It's really good for the digestion. And I'm encouraging you, if you haven't, and you have problems with weight, maybe that's the fact. Some people think, well, I'm not eating, that's good. No, when you eat, that encourages metabolism and it stores fat in different ways like you're supposed to. So maybe energizing yourself with eating something small, and we're going to go into blood type in a minute, something small, and just try to encourage yourself to do that. That's part of nourishing yourself. And then when you do that, get the proper sleep, you can make better decisions on the food you eat instead of jumping up, rushing out the door, stopping to get a jelly donut because that's a false sense of energy. Not saying you can't do it, I'm just giving you some material, some nuggets, giving it in a different perspective. I would encourage you to even journal when you do eat that, how you feel. 5 minutes after, 10 minutes after, 30 minutes after, because it is a false sense of energy. And when it does do that, you crash. And then you're feeling tired, you're feeling lethargic, you're feeling sluggish, and you don't want to do nothing. Then you probably got an attitude, be frustrated with other people, actually frustrated with yourself, because you did not make a good decision that morning. All because of sleep. When we used to tell our kids, you cranky, you need to take a nap. We cranky, we need to go take a nap. Everybody needs to take a nap. Because it restores and refreshes us and rejuvenates us so we can do what it is that we're supposed to do. And again, it causes you, if you don't get the proper rest, it can cause you to feel sluggish, not making good decisions. It's part of your primary food, making decisions, right? Secondary food, and once you make that primary decision of getting the proper rest, the secondary food is, you know what, I'm gonna get some oatmeal. I'm gonna make an oatmeal cup in a mason jar. I like fruits, so I'm gonna put some oatmeal in there, some fruit, some agave or something. In the morning, I'm gonna nuke it. That's my practice. Being conscious of nourishing yourself. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and maybe a light snack. Well, I don't know if I can do that. Just try it. Just try it. See how you feel. See how you feel. Spending time dealing with negative feelings from overeating certain foods. You don't get the proper sleep. Somebody turn the time and make sure. Okay, let's talk about, now we're on to food. Let's talk about food. When we don't get the proper food, piggybacking on that, if we don't get the proper for nourishing, and you will have withdrawal symptoms such as agitation and anxiety. Talk about anxiety. When you cut down on certain food, behavior around food and eating causes you significant distress. Food issues decrease your availability to function effectively. Need more and more food you crave to experience any pleasure or to reduce negative emotions. Again, we're talking about getting the proper sleep so we can make better decisions. Inflammation. I know we said we don't talk food. No, just talk about inflammation. Inflammation is the real cause of all diseases and how to reduce and prevent it. Inflammation is the common link between such debilitating conditions as Alzheimer's, heart disease, cancer, and arthritis. Did you know inflammation is thought to be the culprit behind the visible signs of aging? Inflammation is a wellness buzzword these days, and for good reason. If you reduce inflammation in your body, you'll not only look and feel better, you'll significantly lower your risk for chronic diseases. What is inflammation? It is your body's response to stress, whether from a diet, lifestyle, or environment. Think of what happens when you catch a cold. You may experience inflammation in the form of a fever, or as your body heats up to eradicate the fever that affects of the invading virus. This kind of inflammation is good, but moderate, epidemic, chronic, low-grade inflammation destroys the body, the balance in your body. When your body systems experience a consistent inflammatory response, you become more susceptible to aging and disease. Inflammation is not our friend. Food causing inflammation is hot dogs, processed foods and stuff that we kind of grew up on and are familiar with. And now we're in a certain state in our life and our body with our maybe sickness or whatever. But those are some of the things that causes inflammation. Environmentally, toxicity, we talked about that. What's toxicity? Not just food, toxic food, but again, toxic relationships, toxic environment, toxic self, talking down to yourself, talking negativity to yourself, saying stuff about yourself that somebody said to you and you took it on yourself and now it becomes you. All of that matters. The symptoms that you may have: inflammation, visible signs of aging like wrinkles, susceptibility to bacteria, fungal and viral infection, acid reflux, cancer, skin conditions like psoriasis and acne, arthritis, bronchitis, chronic pain, diabetes, high blood pressure, osteoporosis, heart disease, candidus, which is yeast, and urinary tract infections. These are some of the things that causes or the attribution of inflammation. You might have food allergy sensitivities and not even know it. Constant stress, constant stress, constant stress, constant stress, constant stress can cause an enormous amount of inflammation. Again, tapping you on your body is tapping you on your shoulder. When we have our cycle, it's not normal and regular to have pain. Did you know that? There's a blockage going on somewhere. A block going on somewhere. Sugar cause you're concerned with it. Too much sugar. Too much sugar can cause that. There's a study of rats stating that they did a study with cocaine and sugar, and sugar won. They kept going back to the sugar. People say it's natural, and I say, well, petroleum and arsenic is natural too. So the good thing is that there are ways to get around the sugar. And so let's talk about the cravings. Sugar cravings. All right. Okay. Cravings. Again, this is the body's response craving salty foods? Craving for salty foods can often indicate a mineral deficiency. All salt originates in the sea, and natural sea salt contains 60 different trace minerals, which are basis for the formation of vitamins, enzymes, and proteins. Talked about this before, when you was in my class before, how pink salt is so important too. But all white salt is not pure iodine salt. You have to kind of use some homework. Because back in the day, they had a thyroid epidemic, and it was due to low iodine in the thyroid. So if somebody suffering from thyroid problems, maybe look into iodine supplements or talking to the doctor about that. And sometimes it's hard to find out that you need some thyroid medication, whatever. So if you're still ovulating, take your temperature before you get up and get a thermometer, digital thermometer. Take your temperature for 30 days. The internal body temperature is 97.5. If it's lower than that, it's a concern. If you're not ovulating, do it for 14 days. Right before you put your feet on the floor, take the temperature. If it's not 97.5, there's a concern. Because sometimes if you do a TSH or T4 thyroxine test, they may not see it. It could be something else. That's the thyroid. Most of us use common table salt, which has been refined and stripped of many of these minerals. Diets are generally lacking minerals because much of our food have been highly processed and chemically grown. Are you craving bitter foods? Remember the old saying, it's the bitter pill that cures you. Well, this is a good rule to live by, especially because modern diets don't contain mainly healthy bitter foods. Bitter food enhances digestion. So craving for bitter flavor may actually be a craving for nutritious foods to cut through fat and stagnation in the body's organ and digestive tract. Again, this is part of listening to your body as it's happening on your shoulder. Are you craving spicy foods? Are you looking for an array of flavors, both subtle and strong? Are you looking for hot and spicy? So much processed food is lacking in flavor because it's been on the shelf for too long and for too much time became stale and stagnant and tasteless. This kind of food lacks vitality and energy and aliveness and includes added fat and cholesterol. Did you know that food has energy? Food has energy. We would never really talk that. You're like, it's good for you, but I don't like it. It's good for you. So even on your lifestyle change, not a diet, you do a lifestyle change and you were eating stuff that you didn't like, how are you going to lose weight? I don't like it, but I'm going to eat it because it's good for me. Try to find something else. Something different. Are you craving something moist or liquid? When craving liquids, ask yourself if you've been eating an excess amount of salty food or dry baked flour products. Do you feel dry or tight or thirsty? Many physical problems, including headaches, urological problems, and kidney stones are a result of chronic dehydration. The list can go on and on and on. Before we end, I want to talk about blood type. Why is it so important to eat according to your blood type? Eating according to your blood type, there are 4 types. There's your A, your O, your AB, and your B. We are one of all of these. All of us are one of these. You know what I mean, right? So if you are an A-type person, if you're an A-type person, this is a semi-cooperative, orderly person. The cultivator. The first vegetarian, reaps what he sows, sensitive digestive tract, tolerant immune system, adapts well to several dietary environmental conditions, responds best to stress with calming action, requires agrarian diet to stay lean and productive. So they're vegetarians. You should be a vegetarian, high carbohydrate, low fat, engage in gentle exercise such as yoga or golf. Meditate to deal with stress. Your risk factors for A-type is cancer, heart disease, increase if you eat incorrectly. You are what you eat. And this is just something to think about. All diets work, but you have to find one specific for you. It's called diet individuality. The next one is B. B-type is creative, balanced, and flexible. The nomad. Balanced, strong immune system, tolerant digestive system, most flexible dietary choices. Dairy eater responds best to stress with creativity. It's time to get your creative juices flowing, B-type people. Requires a balance between physical and mental activities to stay lean and sharp. You should have the most varied diet of all blood types, one including meat. Yours is the only blood type that does well with dairy products. Engage in exercise such as moderate swimming or walking. Your risk for slow-growing viruses that attack the nervous system increase if you eat correctly for your blood type. AB, rare, charismatic, mysterious, enigma. Modern merging of A and B, chamomile, responses to changing environment and dietary conditions. Chameleon, chameleon, sensitive digestive tract, overly tolerant immune system, responds best to stress spiritually with physical verve and creative energy and involuntary mystery. You have most of the benefits and intolerances of A and B. Engage in calming exercises and relaxation techniques. You have the friendliest immune system of all the blood types. All right, where my O people at? Where I need to keep that. O is the oldest blood type around. O is strong, self-resilient, leader, the hunter, the meat the meat eater, hearty digestive tract, overactive immune system, intolerant to dietary and environmental adaptations. Responds best to stress with intense physical exercise. Requires an efficient metabolism to stay lean and energetic. We must eat meat, which is high in protein, but some people don't, if they're old, they don't like meat. So basically, high protein or low carbohydrates. Cut out wheat and most other grains. Engage in vigorous aerobic exercise. Risk factors for ulcers and inflammatory disease such as arthritis increase if you eat incorrectly for your time. I could go on and on, but time is drawing near. Yeah, well, just. Something was said today that have caused you to kind of rethink things, to make sure that you know and understand that you are not only blessed and highly favored, but you are God's general. Yes. You are His general. The Word of God says that we are the sheep of His pasture, and we have to start acting like it, and not allowing certain to get off of who we are. And life will happen. Flesh will try to creep up. But the great part about it is we get another chance. I hope you go away with this, listening to your body, listening to how important you are, listening to those aches and pains, listening. Because when we listen, we can make better choices. Get the proper sleep. Understanding that when we go to sleep, we get the proper rest, we can make better choices and decisions. So I'm going to pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this time and opportunity, Lord God, just to say thank you, Lord God, for getting understanding and clarity and how much you love us so much, to remind us how we are to take care of ourselves and nourish ourselves with your word and with an understanding and a concept, Lord God, of the things that goes on around us does not have to become us. We change the situation because of who you created us to be, Lord. We thank you that we are the salt of the earth, oh God. And if the salt loses its flavor, where will it be, Lord? It will be a trample underfoot. I thank you, Lord God, that you have called us, oh God, the light of the world. A light that sits on a hill that cannot be hidden. And I say to these, your people, don't let your light be hidden. Let your light shine among men that they will see your good works and glorify our Father which is in heaven. I thank you, Lord God, for these your people, that you would order their steps and direct their path, oh God. I thank you for great opportunity, Lord God, that is before them, Lord God. the grace and mercy, Lord God, is their portion. That you would open up doors and windows of opportunity for them to walk in with boldness and power and tenacity, oh God. I thank you for fervency, oh God. I thank you for courage and strength, oh God, in their lives this day. I thank you, Lord God, when the enemy comes in like a flood, you will raise up a standard against them. I, Lord God, come against the enemy on every hand that tries to kill, steal, and destroy what you have purposed and planned for their lives, oh God. I thank you for greater grace. I thank you for a new beginning and a fresh start in their life, oh God. I thank you, Lord God, that you are not only a God that sits high and looks low, but you sit us in heavenly places in Christ Jesus, oh God. So I thank you, Lord God, that you're stirring them up even now, oh God. Take care of them, Lord God, each and every one of them, name by name and one by one, Lord God. That you will perfect everything that concerns them, oh God. Every single thing, oh God. For you're a God not only that sits high and looks low, but you go to and fro, seeing whom you can show yourself faithful, oh God, to. So we thank you for your faithfulness each and every day, oh God. And we lean and trust on you, Lord God. When we can't see the answer, we know that you are doing it, oh God. We know that you're stirring things up in the atmosphere. We know, Lord God, that you are not just taking it easy up there. We know that all things are working together for the good of them that love you, Lord. To them that are called according to your will and your purpose. I thank you for these 5-star generals, oh God, that they're going to rise up, oh God, to the place where you have called them to be in the spirit realm, oh God. I thank you, Lord God, for what you're doing in each and every one of their lives and what you're about to do and what you're going to do. I thank you, Lord God, that we're going to take care of ourselves. We thank you that you gave us one body. And we thank you that you're going to give us the wisdom to know how to nourish this body and keep it in perfect peace, oh God. We bless you this day. We thank you in Jesus' name we pray.
Hallelujah.